Hey, Nation, Harry here, back with Rayanne. Rayanne, I'm not going to try that last name again. I'm not going to try that last name again this month. So please, okay, thank you. My tongue, it just doesn't work that way. But hey, we great feedback on the initial conversation we had with you about the deferment or not deferment of the Social Security taxes. Funny thing is, before we get into this topic, on my morning walk this morning, my son called. He's Department of Defense, and he's all frustrated. He called while I'm out on my walk, and he said, "Doggone it, they're doing that Social Security tax deferral on me," and I say, "I got to pay it back." So.
Yeah, oddly enough, federal employees do not have the option. They have to adhere to any president's executive orders. So, everybody who works for TSA or any federal, or branch of the federal government is affected.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but that's not why we're here. We're here to kind of roll back the conversation and get it current, and I'm talking about the Payroll Protection Program, or PPP. I always say that acronym slowly, and I do. I'll leave it at that. But we all got into a flurry March, April, and quite frankly, a lot of us in the MSP community benefited from that. I mean, it was a very interesting economic injection from the government and a transfer of wealth, and that's a whole nother conversation. Now, Rayanne, is it time for me to apply for my forgiveness? What is the story?
It's almost time for you to apply for forgiveness. Many banks, most banks actually, are not yet accepting applications for the forgiveness because I think they're still waiting for final guidance, not final interim guidance, which is what we've been getting for the last 6 months, but final guidance from Congress and the SBA as to what is being forgiven. And there's all sorts of theories out there, right? So they've got theories of, if your loan was under 150,000, it's just going to automatically be forgiven, but that hasn't been approved yet. And so, but there are some things, Harry, that you could be doing right now to at least prepare for it, right? Because the Paycheck Protection Program, was based on payroll. And then, as you know, on June 5th, Congress passed another incentive or, stimulus package that extended the 8-week payroll covered period to 24 weeks.
Yep.
So you can be anywhere from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. And chances are by now you've used up all of the PPP money, or
Yep.
PPP money. So what you can start doing right now is gathering up your payroll reports, your rent bills, your rent invoices from your landlord, your health insurance bills, but if you are using rent, and quite frankly, most people are going to use up all of that money on payroll because of the extended period.
Correct.
So, really what you want to do is get your payroll reports from your accounting system or your payroll provider, make sure that you have your 941 for the second quarter, and your unemployment returns for the second quarter, and if your covered period goes into the third quarter, make sure you have good records for those. And if it does go into the third quarter, which means July, if your covered period is still running in the months of July and or August, then you're going to have to wait until October before you can even apply, because you're going to need to attach your 941 and your unemployment tax returns with the application.
Okay, I'm literally taking notes. So, okay, the payroll reports, the 941s, and what was that last one? The unemployment?
The unemployment tax returns for your state. So, because that is also included. So they want to make sure that the payroll reports match the 941 and that they can see on the unemployment returns who made how much money. Right, because they can take a look at the payroll, wage reports and see each person's name, social security number, and the amount of wages that they were paid in a quarter to make sure that they didn't go over the $100,000 magic mark.
Okay. And other than that, is it pretty straightforward? And by that, I mean, the application itself that's probably the easiest loan you're ever going to get in your life. I mean, that is a pretty straightforward application. Thank you. I'm assuming this will be a fairly straightforward process in the same vein. You've kind of outlined, a handful of to-dos, but that seems pretty reasonable to me.
It is actually pretty reasonable. And, if your listeners go to my website, abcsolutionsfl.com, and they go to my resources page,
Yep.
I've even put up a spreadsheet that will help you calculate your forgiveness. So all you have to do is plug in the numbers and it will calculate the forgiveness for you.
And I'm going there right now, abcsolutionsfl.com. And yeah, you've been real good about that. And then under about is the resources. Where are we?
Might be under the services menu.
Ah, there we are. Services, resources. We did this last time, and here we are.
Right.
Okay,
so you
cool.
can download the little spreadsheet and fill in the numbers, and then it will populate. It's actually designed to look just like the forgiveness application. So you can fill it all out, know what your forgiveness is. And then when it's time to submit the application to the bank, you can either use that form or use the form that your bank gives you. But the numbers will all be there for you to just pop right in.
Cool. Doing it as we speak. Rayanne, you always give more than you take. I appreciate it. And great to, as I said off camera, great to reconnect. I mean, we did the SBS thing, and then everybody kind of went and did their thing. And now, we're finding new connections.
Right. So if I may, and you probably don't know, how important you are in how I landed where I did.
Didn't expect that one.
You probably are not aware of it, but I'm going to use this opportunity to boast my Harry story, if it's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So years and years ago, I want to say it was 2010, you came to Tampa and for the SBS user group.
I did.
And and we were sitting at Hooters having a drink after our user group meeting.
Oh my. Okay.
And I asked you if you knew anybody at Autotask, because I was interested in breaking into Autotask consulting.
Yep.
And then you went home, and then the next day you reached out and you introduced me to
was it Bob Goggard or Jay McBain or?
It was D. Costanzo.
Oh, Lynn. Yeah, Lynn
Lenny.
D. Costanzo. Yep.
And so I started communicating with them, and he introduced me to Bob and Jay, and and the rest was all just history. But I've always attributed you to being a critical portion of that success. So I want to thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, and the book's not done, as they say. So what we're seeing is like I alluded to, new ways to stay connected, because I really think, Rayanne, maybe that'll be one of our topics one month. I'm going to make a side note about this, is that I think in our community, and I'm sure you've seen it, but a lot of us have a hard time getting out of our own way, right? We're like SBS. And I resemble that. And so that's a conversation for you and me to have about the evolution of technology, the community, and so on, because I think it's a conversation we have to have. Guys, you got to reinvent yourself. Okay, bottom line.
Right. I remember you put out a magazine, and I remember the cover that said, pivot or perish, right?
Yeah.
So that's all, and that's turned into one of my catchphrases. So
yeah,
I remember that that volume from years ago.
All right. Well, Rayanne, stay safe from all those hurricanes. It's the mean season down in Florida. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know, but it's the mean season up there too. You guys stay safe with all of those fires.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.